open secret sa Bicol si Zaldico. Hindi namin malalaman kung sino ang mga contractor kung walang tip because open secret naman yan sa kanila.
I cannot write what I cannot vet. Possible din na may mga fake sources sa'yo, sinesendan ka ng
Yeah.
dokumento to mislead you or para gusto sana makuryente ka.
If people can give them hell,
Yeah.
and many people will give them hell, okay na ako dun. I've done my job.
Itong corruption scandal na talagang yumayanig sa atin ngayon dito sa Pilipinas ay napakalala na. Pero sa isang banda, nakakatawa din tingnan na meron tayong mga journalists na ginagawa yung trabaho nila para i-expose itong mga nangyayari ngayon. Merong dalawang journalists akong mga kaibigan na taga-Rappler na they have been doing quite a bit of tremendous work reporting on corruption in the Philippines. Ito ay si Dwight De Leon at saka si Lian Buwan. Puro parehong mga kaibigan, parehong mga taga-Rappler. At kung titingnan nyo yung mga trabaho nila sa Rappler.com, makikita mo dun yung tindi ng mga ginagawa nilang paghahalungkat at pagre-report sa mga pangungurakot sa gobyerno. At syempre, hindi madali yung ginagawa nila kung ano-anong mga pinapagawa sa kanila, pinapagbabayad pa sila ng mga papeles ng Securities and Exchange Commission. Andyan yung mga tinatarget sila ng mga sources nila at ini-intimidate at sinasabihan, whether directly or not, na wag nang gawin tong pag-expose ng kanilang mga report. So kasama natin ngayong hapon, mula sa Rappler, si Lian Buwan at si Dwight De Leon. Welcome, Dwight. Welcome, Lian.
Hello,
thank you for
hello.
inviting
Thank you po.
us.
Salamat sa pagpapaon lang. Alam ko, busy-busy kayo, kaya I'm happy na pinaunlakan niyo ako. So, kaya ako kayo in-invite dalawa na magsalita dito sa aking munting podcast ay dahil nga gusto kong pag-usapan natin yung ginagawa ninyo bilang mga investigative journalists ng Rappler. Kasi nga, as a lot of people know by now, ang dami ng mga napalabas ang Rappler tungkol sa mga nangyayari ngayon sa corruption, sa DPWH, sa Congress, sa nga na yan no? And of course, obviously, hindi lang naman Rappler ang gumagawa ng ganyan. Andyan din naman ang PCIJ. Kaya lang, when you talk about consistency, mukhang kayong dalawa itong nasa nasa talagang tinahasan dito na gawin ito no, and you have been very very prodigious in your output in terms of the investigation. So I want to talk to you both about kung paano yung ginagawa to, what keeps you going, ano yung mga nabanggit ko nga kanina, what are the hoops that you have to or you're forced to go through just to do your story. Unahin natin si Dwight. I'm sorry, Liana, hindi muna tayo ladies first. Dwight, medyo matagal-tagal ka na rin sa Rappler, di ba? Can you tell me ilang taon ka na? And which beats have you covered?
Naka-apat na yata ako. Dati, ang una kong beat, COMELEC tsaka LGU. Tapos after the 2022 elections, doon ako nagsimulang mag-cover ng House for a year. Tapos nalipat ako ng Malacanang and I didn't like it that much. So talaga sabi ko, pwede mong pakibalik ako sa House.
May choice ka pala?
Yes, we have a choice here.
May lobbying efforts. So, after some time, naibalik ako sa Congress.
Okay. That's good. And Lian, before this, I mentioned kanina na ikaw ay yung lead ng human rights, whatever you call it.
Human rights cluster.
So, can you tell us a few sentences about your years in Rappler so far? How long it's been?
I have been, sorry hindi ako marunong mag-math, but I started in Rappler in 2017 and I've been their justice reporter hanggang 2022, and then nung 2023 nag-transition ako to leading the cluster until I said may choice nga din naman ako, until I said investigative reporter na lang po ako.
Mas no?
So now I am on their Newsbreak, the investigative arm of Rappler, doing a little bit of everything. So kung merong malaking balita, naturally, I would be put there because that's the investigation of the season.
Yeah, just a little background on Newsbreak, friends. Ito yung dating outfit ng ng mga manang sa Rappler na they specialized in investigative reports dati. And then when Rappler came in, Maria Resa's group came in, they somehow, if I'm not mistaken, they somehow subsumed or nila yung Rappler and
Yeah.
turn it into the investigative outfit. Ikaw din, Dwight ba? Yung mga output mo ay nasa under the Newsbreak or general?
Yeah, under Newsbreak, kapag in-depth reports, kapag uniques, explainers, under Newsbreak, ano siya, section of the
Okay.
website.
Yes,
Okay.
para ma-hit namin yung Newsbreak quota
Meron pala, ano?
Actually, mas may quota kami sa sa Newsbreak kaysa
sa Newsbreak.
kaysa sa Daily Grind.
Sana hindi manood si Ma'am Chay nitong podcast.
Manunood yun and kukulitin ko siya manood siya. So yeah, so let's tackle that, no? Kasi okay, again, kaya ko na ano tong episode na to was when Dwight posted something about basically complaining about why reporters had to pay a lot of money to get documents from the Securities and Exchange Commission, and that got me. I mean, that upset me actually. And that got me mad. And then that got me thinking whether, okay, dapat yata siguro pag-usapan natin to. And then that was followed up by Lian's post about their efforts to, you guys, yung effort nyo to track itong mga contracts ng mga nasa, may link sa mga kongresista. And then you said that is something na citizen-powered journalism, binanggit mo. So, pag-usapan natin yan. But let's first, no? Ano yung so far, Dwight, Lian, ano so far yung mga consider yung greatest hits ninyo covering itong mga scandals lately on DPWH, itong sa Kongreso?
Ako mag-usher in kay Dwight, the one who broke
sige.
Zaldico's
Well,
links
actually,
to
I
so
think
many of these companies.
that would be my answer kasi when we started doing the Zaldico story, hindi pa naman pumuputok yung flood control
Oh,
scandal,
yeah.
yung public works scandal. We
Kasama mo si
started,
Casey dyan, di ba? Sorry.
yeah, si Casey,
Oh,
kami ni Casey. We started in January 2024. And during that time, ano siya, parang at the height of his power, ganyan. And although naririnig-rinig ko na yung SunWest, sa Bicol, it's an open secret that he owns these companies. Tapos napacheck lang ako sa DPWH website and then I saw that talagang billions of pesos yung napanalunan nila. Pero ang tagal nung investigation. It included parang, syempre may doubt din kami sa amin kung tama ba yung pinupurso naming lead. And yung dokumento talaga, mahal kasi yung dokumento eh. Hesitant kaming bumili ng documents sa SEC because parang pag bumili ka ng dokumento, hindi ka naman sure kung yung dokumentong mabibili mo is yung dokumentong kailangan mo. And at that time, wala pa yung cheaper version. So, each document at the time, I think 2,000 pesos. So, medyo mahal siya. Paano kung mali yung napili mong dokumento, di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi naman siya yung parang pwede mong sabihin sa manang, sa bosses namin na pwede po bang gumastos kami ng 2,000 pesos for a document?
Oops,
Hindi
mali
kami
pala
sure.
for 2K, ganun.
Oo, 'di ba? So, eto, kaya na tuloy yung investigation namin kay Zaldico because nag-apply na kami for a grant. Ito yung Journalists Against Corruption, yung I think this was coordinated by PCIJ. Tapos na-publish na siya in March 2024. I think that yun nga, that's our most successful story, at least on my end. Kasi after that, meron ng traction yung story sa simula pa lang. Pero nung talagang pumutok na yung flood control scandal, hindi na nagpapakita si Zaldico. As in, binomp siya ng mga tao sa TikTok. Parang, I think nung unang labas niya, nasa 1 million lang siya. Tapos, views sa TikTok. Tapos, bandang August, bandang September, nasa 3 million na siya.
Yeah.
Tapos, yung mga comments sa saying, oy, nandito pala kayo, oy, ginawa pala ng Rappler to. So, parang sa amin ni Casey, natutuwa kami kasi ang daming sleepless nights talaga yung ginugol namin for that story. So, kahit paano nagbunga naman siya. And, well, ngayon nagtatago siya abroad. Hindi siya bumabalik ng Pilipinas, nag-resign siya. He's a subject of an investigation. So, parang vindication na rin siguro yun on our end kasi sometimes diba sinasabi ng mga tao, mga Rappler may intriga yung mga yan, puro politika lang, pero yung story naman namin was solid. So
yeah,
I guess that's
yeah,
it.
I think it's important to point that out. I'm glad you started off with that one because kasi nga ang laging iniisip ng mga tao itong all of these corruption issues ngayon lang pumutok ito, but it's important to point out na itong expose ninyo on Zaldico was actually in 2024 pa. And you basically blazed the trail on this one that I don't know whether we can say na that literally just paved the way for the subsequent events, no? But parang mahirap mahirap siyang tingnan na walang kinalaman yung ginawa ninyong investigation dun sa tawag dito, pagbuhos ng public anger sa nangyari ito. And then dinagdagan na nga ng mga diskaya, no? Lian, were you involved in that or yung sa
No,
Saldi ko na yun?
Saldi ko, no, that's all
Consultant
Dwight.
namin si Lian. Oo.
But
Kasi,
that's all Dwight and Casey talaga. I think I've sat in two
Mhm.
meetings.
sort of meetings, and then I think meron din ako mga pinasang leads, pero si Dwight and Casey lang talaga.
Yeah. Can you tell me kung ano yung what sort of, apart from the, expensive documents, and I imagine hindi lang ito, whether it's printed copy or PDF, you still have to pay for the same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So apart from that, ano pa ibang mga difficulties that you had to you had to face dyan sa Saldico investigation ninyo, and of course later on Lian, some other cases?
ako sometimes may mga nagme-message sa akin, anonymous sources. During the course of the investigation, nagpapadala sa akin ng mga dokumento, ganyan. Pero they didn't want to reveal themselves, to disclose their identities. So, parang ang haba nung ligawan na parang, oh, I promise to protect my sources. Pero eventually, hindi ko nagamit yung mga dokumento kasi um, I cannot write what I cannot vet. So, kung kunwari, let's just say ito ay either empleyado ng SunWest or ito ay malapit kay Zaldico, I wouldn't know. Kasi di ba possible din na may mga fake sources yung sinesendan ka ng
Yeah.
dokumento to mislead you or para gusto sana makuryente ka to
Yeah.
ruin your credibility, and we don't want that. So,
Yeah.
yun yung
Let
isa
me let me cut you there, Dwight, just for this to emphasize this. Mga ka-DDS, okay? Tandaan nyo to, I cannot write what I cannot vet. Sinabi ni Dwight De Leon yan. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi niya pwedeng i-report yung mga hindi niya na-verify ng information. Okay, Dwight, continue. Sorry.
So yun, so ang hirap ng prosesong yun sa amin. Tapos hindi ayun it's a difficult story. Tapos yung mga tao hirap din silang mag-come forward. So eventually, yung first two stories namin, I think kasi two-parter yan eh. It's really just parang making sense of the SEC documents, the DPWH data, some sources nakilala namin pero willing lang to speak on the condition of anonymity. So, yun yung struggle namin. At the same time, meron din kaming mga in interviews saying na pwede ba kayo yung magsabi ng ganito na may conflict of interest. Ayaw din nila. So, nahirapan din kami ng kasi nung dati, before pa tong naging issue na tong conflict of interest sa flood control scandal, ako hesitant din ako na ako yung magsabi mismo sa story ako that there's conflict of interest. Ngayon kasi parang pag nagbabasa ka ng stories, even from sa other publications, may level of confidence na yung mga journalists to say that this is conflict of interest eh. In the past, last year, earlier this year, kumukuha kami ng budget experts para sila yung mismo magsabi na conflict of interest to. Ngayon, actually, tingnan mo lang naman yung batas eh. Or tingnan mo lang how they circumvent the law eh. That there's conflict of interest in a congressman, in a politician, being tied to a company that gets DPWH contracts.
Yeah. Ito rin ba yung template na ginamit niyo for future, yung subsequent na investigations niya? I remember, I think it was you, Lian, who wrote the story on the Matugas dynasty.
Kami ni Dwight.
Okay, yung dalawa.
That was
tama.
a collab, yeah.
Pero si Lian yung lead talaga doon.
So, ano yung comparison in terms of the level ng difficulty ng mga problemang you had to go through?
I would just wanna backtrack na talagang the present situation now has allowed for some confidence in not only reporters but also in some sources to come out.
Yeah.
Ano lang, just a backgrounder, nung 2025 midterm elections, I covered Ilocos Norte at the last stretch. Tapos part of my reportage on the mayoral candidate na ine-endorse nila BBM ng Marcos family, si Mayor Brian Alcid, he's a contractor, a very prolific contractor, and he was already a city councilor of Lawag at that time with projects in Lawag. And that was already part of my reportage. Pero I didn't think it had made an impact. Number one, nanalo siya. Kasi feeling ko, yung mga tao at that time didn't see what was wrong when your public official is also a contractor. So kahit magnangangwa ako dyan na contractor yung tumatakbong mayor nyo, it doesn't matter because they don't see why that's bad. And I feel like because of what had happened, na bumuo na tayo ng culture of vigilance at nakita na ng mga tao kung bakit mali kung ang public official mo at ang contractor. There are some, parang medyo may nag-open na window of opportunity sa amin. Number one, yung kung sinong may-ari ng contractor. Sabi nga ni Dwight, open secret sa Bicol si Zaldico. Hindi namin malalaman kung sino ang mga contractor kung walang tip because open secret naman yan sa kanila. Which, what I mean to say is that kung sinasabi lang sa amin ng mga tao to dati pa, alam na dapat namin to. But they don't wanna say either because ayaw nga nilang maging source. Pangalawa, hindi naman nila alam kung bakit kailangan naming malaman kasi ayaw nilang may mali. But now that they know, ayan na yung deluge of tips. And that's why we were able to build the contractor map. That's really all coming from tips. These are DMs, emails, Viber messages saying, oh, si Matugas ang may-ari ng Bumetrix sa Surigao del Norte. Doon, in a way, dumali yung trabaho namin. Kasi nga, ang dami ng willing magsabi on the condition of anonymity, which we will protect fiercely. Yung challenge doon ay ang dami ng info. Sobrang daming info
Yung
na
vetting.
lunod. Yes.
This is the most
Lunod.
number of tips I've gotten in my career.
Ako din, in my career.
Facebook,
I've been,
email,
yes.
Viber.
Well, I'm sorry. I can imagine kasi, look, the whole idea na itong mga nangyayaring ganito ay normalized na, kumbaga hindi na siya news, open secret. Dati pa naman talaga ganito na eh. And people know that si mayor, si governor, ganyan, may connection sa mga ganyan. Kaya lang, it's not so much that they didn't know, I think. It's just that it's so normal that they don't see anything wrong with it anymore. So what has happened since then, and this is my theory, is that yung reportage ng media on this one, on Saldico, Ninyo, at saka yung mga subsequent reports, guys, we basically grab the public's head by the back of their head and force them to look at this as really the problem that it is. So kaya ngayon, heto na tayo ngayon. So it's kind of sad na sinasabi natin yan kasi parang pinapalabas ko parang napaka-clueless ng mga Pilipino sa ganito. But you have to go back to decades of misgovernance to realize na this has been going on like this and nobody's questioning it kasi it's so normal. So now you're deluged with tips and the challenge now is how to ferret out which ones are bad and which ones are good. How do you deal with those? Paano yung sa vetting ninyo tungkol dito? Do you have enough resources or human power to even do this sort of thing at this point?
Simulan ko dun sa Matugas, ha. Actually, the Matugas story was one of the easier reports to put together because sinabi na yung pangalan. Okay, for those watching, if you want your contractors to be exposed, we need the company name. Kasi sa SEC, hindi kami pwedeng mag-search by the name. We cannot search by the shareholder. We can only search for a company name. And then, if that company exists in the SEC records, we are blind to who the shareholders are. Doon pumapasok yung sinasabi ni Dwight na we will buy documents and they end up being wrong. So, fortunately, meron ng service ang SEC ngayon that lets us buy 375 pesos per document. So, that's infinitely cheaper than the 2,000 per document na ginastos nila Dwight for Zaldico. So once we have a company name, we buy the SEC records, confirm that it's owned by the politician. Madali lang yon kung yung politiko mismo yung contractor because the name is there. I do an added layer. I verify their TIN because their COC contains their date of birth and their SEC contains their TIN. And BIR has a TIN verifier. So, para lang sure na sure ako na it's just not the same name. So, I do an added layer of TIN verification. Humihirap kapag hindi mismo yung politiko yung may-ari. Humihirap kung asawa. Pero yung asawa mas madali pa because in their COC, they declare the name of their spouse. So, yun yung mas madali. Pag yung anak, dun na mahirap kasi sinong anak nito? Doon na kami gumagaling sa pagsa-stalk sa social media.
Anak, kapatid, pamangkin.
Anak, kapatid, pamangkin. So these are the selfies, birthday posts.
Mga nepo babies.
So actually, yung pagiging oversharer ng mga Filipino has helped our investigations a lot because may mga undeniable posts talagang. And celebrating my daughter's 15th birthday, o di confirm daughter mo, ganon. Sometimes there's no public record of their family. So for example, my story on the mayor of Ilagan, Isabela, whose brother is their top contractor of the city. Walang public record na magkapatid sila. Wala talaga. So I had to dig deep into my Ilocano network. Ilocano kasi ako. So kinailangan kong brush off my Ilocano skills, asked a bunch of them until I finally found 3 people, not necessarily in my network, but connected to me, who confidently told me, and they didn't know each other, na parang, sure ako, kapatid ni Mayor yan. So, kailangan kong i-thesis defense kay Ma'am Chai na, Ma'am Chai, I don't have a public record that will verify that they're brothers, but I have 3 people who come from this city who are confident that they're brothers. Do we gamble on this? So, we gambled on it, and we were right. So, yun yung mga challenges.
I mean, just on that one, old school na method of doing it was that, okay, may yung kayong tatlong sources and to try to connect this child to the contractor. I mean, all you had to do was try to call them up and ask them, is that something that's
Pero
still
hindi sila
doable now?
sasagot.
Exactly. Naalala ko tuloy yung nangyari sa isa yun din yata yun, Lian, na si Isabela yata yun, di ba? Yung
Yeah,
mismo
the
yun.
mayor of Ilagan, Isabela, yes.
Oo. Na kung ano-ano pang sinabi, dinideny. But yeah, so the deluge of information helped in no small measure by all of this, oversharing, oversharers ng mga anak ng or relative ng mga politiko. You would think on the surface that this makes your job easier, but if you really want to be serious about it, it actually doesn't, or it makes it easier to get information, but really to vet them is I would imagine quite hard, right?
Right? Oh, kasi minsan nauunahan kami ng netizens eh.
Pero
Yeah.
siguro, kasi yung minsan na-verify na rin naman talaga siya ng netizens, or alam mo, minsan parang mayroon na rin silang dokumento or nakita lang yung DPWH contracts. Maybe not the SEC documents, but at times may ganoon. Pero I think they still look up to the media. Na media yung final source of verification. Na pag na-publish na siya sa isang legitimate news outlet, parang they can already
Verified na.
cite it. Tapos na yun na yung ginagamit nila to parang sinashare nila among their friends in their community. And siguro backtrack lang din ako, Sir Kaloy, na yun din isa pa nagpapatagal din sa amin is yun nga, honoring their right to reply. Kasi syempre, alam na namin yung nakita na namin, na-establish na namin yung connection. Kung ganun lang, sometimes may mga story din na in a day lang kung tutuusin, kung ganun lang, hindi na namin hingin yung reply. Mapapublish namin agad eh. But we know that this could be a sensitive issue. Tapos, sensitive din yung mga politicians na hindi hiningi yung side nila. So, we follow up with them. We email them first or we reach out to whatever channel is available. Tapos, repeated follow-up yan. Hindi yung pagka-message mo this morning, mamayang gabi publish na. Unless parang sobrang urgent nung story. I take at least 3 days, tapos follow up. Kunyari, today, bukas follow up, then the next day follow up ulit. Bago ko talaga i-publish yung story. Kasi sometimes they really ignore you eh.
Yeah,
Tapos, and may times pa, there was one subject of the story na parang tinawagan ako, tapos, sinabi ko kailangan ko kasi yung side niya. Dahil siya yung subject ng story. Tapos, the call happened, but the source is saying, this call never happened. It was like, sir, you're the subject of my story. I need your comment. Tapos sinabihan pa ako nung subject na yon na, well, you already know what to do. What to do?
Can I jump?
Yan.
Kasi yung mga politiko, and I'm sorry na lang kung may matamaan, yung mga politiko, ano talaga nila yan, oldest tool in the box, yung tatawag, without really saying, retract your story. But that's the context of the call. And we know so many politicians who do this, and we also know which reporters take the take the call as okay, retract natin, magagalit si Kong. So
Mhm.
it's not as if they're doing that na wala silang, na hindi nila alam na mag-work.
Yeah.
So they're doing that because it has worked so many times before, yung tatawagan, ganyan-ganyan.
Yeah.
And ako nga, sabi ko nga, I would like for these people to call my editors thinking na pag editor na yung tinawagan, mamamatay na. And ako, pag yung editor ko po tinawagan nyo, mas mabubuhay pa yan.
Nga eh.
Baka mas
Nakalimutan nila.
mapadali pa ang pag-publish.
O nga eh. Nakalimutan nila.
Actually,
Iba
nga,
na,
tapos,
iba na yung mga newsrooms ngayon.
tapos
Dahil dyan.
after, nasa bakasyonan ako noon eh. Tapos tumawag sa akin yung subject ng story. Tapos yun nga yung context of the conversation, basically hoping na I'll be intimidated enough para hindi ma-publish yung story. And na-publish para the next day. Tapos parang hours later, nagsend ng statement.
Saka pa lang eh, no?
Pinahirapan niyo pa ako, magko-comment din naman pala kayo.
No, I think that's ano eh. I mean, it's always been like that, diba? They will try to delay and everything kung ano mga ginagawa nila para at least madelay yung publication. Pero it's important to point out, on your part, at least nakikita natin na you're doing all of this, you're taking the extra effort, not just to cover your asses or not just for compliance. Or, it's important to point out that you're actually putting in the effort to try to get their side. Hindi lang dahil you want to be fair, but malay mo, baka may masayo pa silang iba, right? Kasi
Correct,
yun
exactly. Baka mali pala ako.
mali pala
Parang
kayo,
ganon.
yeah. Oh. So I think not a lot of people know that kasi ang laging sinasabi, nagtatry lang kayo kunin yung side daw ni mayor ganyan, ni governor ganito para lang hindi kayo makasuhan ng libel. I mean, andun na tayo, ano? I mean, definitely even ako kahit nung journalist pa ako, and even when I was doing my advocacy research job, ganun talaga yan. We allot a long time to to allow the subject of our inquiry to reply.
Yeah.
We even send out questions, actual questions, specific questions. I
Correct.
don't know if you do that, but that's kind
Yeah.
of wala silang lusot pag ganyan eh. And then if they don't reply at all, then at least masasabi nyo na you did your best. But
Yeah.
okay, yung ito na nga yung sinasabi mo, Lian, na citizen power journalism, ano? Tingin nyo ba ngayon, dahil ginagawa na ito, at of course, hindi lang naman kayo ang gumagawa ng ganyan, but you better than others, meron na bang mga bagong protocols or parameters ngayon in the newsroom among yourselves, kumbaga on how to deal with whatever stuff that's given to you by the citizens through online? I mean, kasi nga, mas marami sila. Sometimes most of the time you take the extra effort to vet, but kumbaga the rules of the game have somehow changed in dealing with crowdsources, crowdsourced
Sourcing. Yeah.
sourcing. May ano ba? May mas naging stricto ba kayo? O of course you encourage this, I imagine, but I wonder if kung meron kayong mga protocols in place na. I mean, just to give
Yeah.
our listeners, especially those considering journalism, some idea on.
Okay. So we now have a workflow. So we have a mother Excel sheet that lists all of the congressmen. At nakalagay, and every time we check one congressman, nakalagay na doon kung kanino assigned, kung kay Dwight ba, kay Lian ba, anong status, ganyan, para lang kita ng buong team. Not that it's a big team. Kita ng buong team na, Dwight na is working on Zaldico, so doon ka na sa kabilang congressman. And every time there's a tip that comes to me or to other, we add it on the spreadsheet para lang kita ng buong team na, meron ng effort na nangyayari dito. And then, kita rin ng buong team kung saan na hold back yung efforts. Like, for example, parang, bakit itong political contractor na to hindi gumagalaw? Maybe I can help there. But the verification has not changed. We've always been very thorough naman in our verification, whether or not nasa internet na yan or something. Ganun pa din. Siguro, ang nagbago ay talagang nagtuturn down, hindi naman nagtuturn down, nagdi-deprioritize na kami ng, dati uhaw na uhaw kami sa tips, di ba? Parang please give us tips. Ngayon, nagdi-deprioritize na kami. And syempre, we also owe it to the tipster to tell them kung nasan sila sa priority list. Kasi ayaw rin naman naming to betray their trust. So ako, I'm very honest to say na kapag may nag-tip sa akin, tapos siya very honest din siya na hindi niya alam lahat. So wala siyang mabigay na company name, ganyan, ganyan, something, something. I reply to say, thank you so much for your tip. Thank you for the trust. Rest assured, um, hindi ka namin ever ilalaglag. But seeing that ang scarce ng information, it's not on our priority list because 10 other political contractors are high up in our priority list just because they are more verifiable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ako talaga, I really want to show the full extent of how many politicians are contractors. So doon ako nakafocus ngayon. So mas nagpo-focus ako na ma-tick off lahat ng mga priority list and then sila Dwight na yung mga mahahabang storya.
Although
Does
ako
it happen?
may
Go ahead,
mga
go
ibang
ahead.
may mga ibang messages ako na sa Facebook na hindi ko talaga ni-reply. No, I'm honest na sobrang daming messages na yung iba hindi ko talaga nasasagot. And may iba doon na nire-replyan ko din. Same as Lian. Pero like, I try to articulate na hindi hindi siya priority sa amin dahil una, parang kanya sinasabi ko na it's because currently yung news cycle is nasa politicians ties to contractors. Kasi because of siguro the credibility that we've built din siguro in the past months because of our investigation. Yung mga tips sa amin hindi lang related to to flood control, hindi na lang related to public works. Sometimes as in any corruption sa municipality nila, sa barangay nila. And although sometimes naiya akong sabihin sa kanila, oh,
Ako, hiyang-hiya ako.
this might be too
Pero wala
small for,
eh.
di ba may ganun di ba? Na parang, it's currently not in the news cycle to pursue this, but I don't know how to say it to the tipster in a way na hindi madidevalue yung
Tip
syempre
nila.
yung courage niya to message. So,
Ako, I always just say, this is not in our priority because of so and so, but thank you so much. But feel free to give it to another news
ayan,
outlet.
same, I
Yeah.
say that as well.
That's
Parang
that's
kung mas may resources sila, go ahead.
That's interesting, because obviously this creates, kind of a culture, at least dun sa online, at least dun sa mga nagpa-follow ng mga ginagawa ninyo, na tipong mas engaged sila in the process. So my next question to you now, both of you, is that has it ever happened na meron nag-tip sa inyo and then, okay, nagkaroon ng traction yung tip niya and then you just got into this relationship with a source, ditong tipster na to, na pati sila mismo effort na dagdagan yung mga tinip nila sa'yo or kumbaga halos maging kapartner nyo na sila sa reporting. Has that happened?
Yes, merong mga ganun. Kasi sobrang this is my mindset on a source. Sources will always have agenda. Meron lagi silang motivation. It can range from really very obviously politically charged, aka gusto kong matalo yung mayor na yan, to a very good motivation, which is motivation of good governance. I want to expose. But all sources will have motivation. I try to accept it and try to see the information for what it is. Parang, even though it comes from a source who wants to oust a mayor, is it true?
Yeah.
If it's true, it's still true. Wala tayong magagawa. Yun talaga yung ano niya. Ang akin lang, kapag alam kong talagang politically motivated yung source, siguro mga triple. May added akong fourth and fifth layer. Mas ako, kumbaga, mas cynical ako on the information. But it will still receive due diligence. At yun talagang polar ends ng sources. The most politically motivated and the most socially motivated. Sila yung pinakamasipag. Kasi gusto talaga nilang to put the story out there. Na yun nga, na talagang parang sila na yung gumawa ng legwork. Kumbaga, parang better na lang ako. Parang ganun.
What are you on the lookout for pag mga ganitong mga crowdsourced sources? I'm sure merong mga red flags kayo, like yung hindi lang sa tone ng pananalita or ng tips or na i-verify. Pero meron ba kayong mga particular set of red flags na tinitingnan pag may mga ganyan?
Ako pag una hindi pa wala sa contact list ko at all. Hindi ko alam paano nakuha yung number ko sa Viber. Tapos biglang magme-message. Tapos sa anonymous account. tapos may mga dokumento ng ready na hindi ko pa na nakita elsewhere.
Mhm.
Ako sure ako na, parang mga siguro 80% sure ako na fabricated yung document.
Or
Lalo na
planted.
nung, oo, parang ganun. I think may tinanong kay isang co-reporter ko dyan. Ang tawag daw is parang influence ops, yung parang they
Yeah.
try to, parang ganun. Tapos, nangyari kasi siya ng sunod-sunod around well, at least before the flood control probe, parang bandang June, July, nakakatanggap ako ng paulit-ulit ng mga ganun, ng mga documents daw from the Marcos admin, ganyan. Tapos may letterhead supposedly ng Bagong Pilipinas. But then I'm like, okay, thank you for the information, but would you be willing to, or how did you know this first? Yun yung tanong ko. Then
Mhm.
second, parang, would you be willing to disclose your identity to me? Tapos, no daw, but they can say that they're an employee of this or that agency. Eh ako parang, wait, alam ko yung certain level of fear ng mga empleyado ng gobyerno. Hindi sila basta-basta send ng dokumento to someone. Eh lalo pa noon panahon, hindi pa naman ako parang lumalabas sa Facebook as someone investigating this or that story. So parang doon red flag sa akin yun eh. Parang yung sobrang bilis ibigay yung tiwala sa'yo.
Yeah.
Pero I mean of course that can also be a good thing.
Yeah.
Na yung ibang lalo na kung legitimate account yung nagme-message sa'yo, sila yung nagbibigay ng information sa'yo. Tapos kasi pag ganun, pwede mo nang i-stalk yung account eh. You would know naman kung staff sila ng ganitong LGU. So you would know if they have an agenda. But at the same time, pag prinod mo kasi sila, you would also know where they're coming from. So
Yeah.
sometimes they just really want to expose the alleged corruption of this certain politician. So we listen to that. And ako naman sinasabi ko sa subject din ng kongresista. I have this story na may isang kongresista na uh, parang insinuated, kasi siya yung subject ng story ko eh. Sabi, baka naman pakawala ka nung kalaban. And, I mean, the information could have come or could have not come from his rivals. But I tell him, if you offer me an info, and that lead is verifiable, if there are documents, and it's solid, it's newsworthy, then I'll pursue it, kahit galing sa inyo.
Yeah.
So,
Mapipilitan ka talaga dito, mag-develop ng spider sense, spidey sense.
As an introvert, hirap na akong makipag interpersonal relationship.
Introvert. Okay.
Pero just to add, yung sa red flag, there are red flags in my head, but I have, ngayon where I am now, parang, kasi I have been late to some stories just because I thought the tip was red flag. At I have lost some sleep. Like, kunyari yung Farmally, like, I think I had it a good 6 months before it exploded. But kasi hindi ko pinapansin dahil nga ayaw magpakilala nung nagtitip sa akin sa email. But had I done due diligence on the very raw information, maybe I could have been earlier in the game. So, nung pumutok na, ito nga ako ngayon hahabulin ko na to kasi nakakahiya naman. And some names in the flood control scandal, I've heard it a month ago. Ito hindi ko naman to, I don't sleep over it because I gave them due diligence. It's just that it wasn't verifiable at that time. So, and these are tips that come from in red flag modes, yung hindi mo alam kung bakit, kung paano nila nalaman, ganyan. So ako medyo hindi na ako red flag kind of girl. It's now my workflow is really, dahil nga sa sobrang dami, I need to prioritize. And at high up in my priority are verifiable, actionable info, and yun nga, people who are willing to talk to me because yun nga, I cannot quote who I cannot see. Just to add lang shout out ko na rin siguro to sa mga source. May mga source na maraming sasabihin. But once na manghingi na ako ng proof, at I really lay it out, sasabihin ko na hindi ko gagamitin yung dokumento without your consent. We can sit on it and agree kung alin lang yung information na pwede kong kunin, ano yung phrasing ng attribution to protect you. Para lang hindi matrace back sa'yo. But I need to see it. I need for my eyes to see what you're saying because that's verification. Dun na sila umaatras. And I think these sources are also expose or siguro mas familiar sila to the kind of journalism na pag sinabi mo yung kwento, bukas labas na.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, to some degree, being an ex-journalist myself, naiingit ako sa inyo, no? Kasi now you have a beautiful problem of having to triage all of this, right? I mean, dati talagang pahirapan na maghanap ka ng sources, pahirapan na
Oo.
maghanap ka ng information, no? I mean, the vetting is obviously a part of the game, but dati talagang mahirap, no? So, in a way, talagang hindi naman swerte, kaya lang this is
Oo.
a
Happy
beautiful problem.
problem.
Happy problem siya talaga, no? As we wind down this conversation, Lian and Dwight, let me ask you, I don't want to sound like I'm not waxing philosophical or anything, but what does all of this mean to you in terms of, how you do your job? Does this I mean, certainly sa part ko, it makes me feel optimistic about the future of journalism in the Philippines because
Oh,
of what you
talaga?
guys
Buti
are.
ka pa.
Yeah, it does. Well, yeah, it doesn't pay as well, pero but it does strike me. Ano siya, tawag dito, nakaka-inspire din naman yung engagement ng publiko. Pero sa inyo, anong tingin niyo dito? Is this something na, I mean, this can only be good, obviously. Let's start with
Oh,
you,
I have a very...
Lian. Yeah.
Sige, siya na. Kasi, hindi, pessimistic kasi ako eh. Kung
Ako din,
it's
hindi
either,
naman ako,
do you want to end on a positive note or a
I mean, I don't
negative
care.
note?
No,
I don't,
ako mauna na ako, Lian, kasi alam ko ikaw yung magiging closing ano eh. Ako just take it one day at a time.
okay.
Kasi I know the gravity of, of the corruption. Parang, alam mo yun, yung parang may mga nag-message sa akin na nawawalan na raw sila ng pag-asa kasi parang lahat involved eh. And I mean, to some extent, parang totoo nga. And parang every week may pinapublish kami about a congressman. And
Mhm.
and sometimes I feel like baka naman parang sanay na rin sila or parang okay na lang sa kanila because they know na parang ang daming na pangalanan eh. Dahil sobrang daming na pangalanan, they'll just be like, "Oh, mawawala na ako sa news
Mm.
cycle after a few days." So, ako I just take it one day at a time. Pag may assignment na binigay sa akin or kapag may nabigay sa aking tip, I pursue it. And ako, I feel satisfied na kapag may nakita akong konting progress. Like yun nga, yung when Zaldico resigned from Congress, I felt like even though he hasn't come home, he hasn't really faced the music, I feel like that's sort of a small victory that I'm willing to take. Na parang, that it's that his downfall sort of was partly because of efforts of journalists, efforts of the general public, and alam mo, ano na yun, nag-compound na lang yun until it led to something concrete.
Yeah.
Pero as kung sobrang positive ba ako about that it will that our journalistic work will lead to genuine reforms. Well, it's something na alam mo yan, kailangan nating abangan because I don't know, I just take it one day at a time.
That's good. Lian?
Diba sabi mo inspiring? I have a very opposite adjective. It has been very debilitating talaga.
Ooh. Okay.
As in,
Expound, please.
kasi, ang dami nga, parang una, pagod na pagod ka na sa pag-vet. Pangalawa, there's really I don't see any, parang wala akong optimism that it will result in meaningful reforms. Because I've covered corruption trials long enough, not too long, but long enough to know these people will be acquitted one day. My baptism of fire is Bong Revilla plunder case. Everything I know about legal reporting, I've learned from Bong Revilla and Estelito Mendoza. So, and I know these people can afford all of these things. So, alam kong 5 years, 7 years, 8 years from now, the headline will be acquitted. Once again, am I not giving people the benefit of the doubt? No, because they don't deserve it. So nandun na ako. Like, I'm really, really very depressed. What keeps me going is it's my job. Hindi para sabihin tayo yung babago ng mundo o tayo yung magfi-fix, tayo yung mag-stop ng baha. I look at it very simply and it's the only way I can continue. It's my job. I am paid to do this job. and therefore I must do it well. So hindi na para maging hero pa or maging inspiration pa, pero ito yung trabaho ko, and if I have another job, I will try to do it with the best I can. Pero trabaho ko lang talaga. If it results in something good, then okay, I'll have happy 2 hours today. But I'm sure I'll have 5 hours of depression tomorrow. Parang gano'n.
Well, that's sad. Uh, no, I mean, I get that. Don't get me wrong. I get what you're saying. I mean, it's easy to be disillusioned sa trabaho natin sa media, and also, of course, you may start with a job with some lofty kind of ideas about what you intend to do or what you can do, but over time, you just find it's not as easy as you thought it would be. But yeah, I get that, and I appreciate that. It's not. I mean, and we're not. I'm not. Ako pa. We're not kind of dismissing that concern. Although a part of me, sabi ko nga kanina, thinks na this can, as far as the public is concerned, this can only be good. I mean, we are allowed to be cynical about where all this will lead. Pero really, what are the alternatives when you think about it? I mean, you have a situation where even governance and politics is so messed up in this country. You have civil society that's not performing as well as it should. That limited din kanilang mga kayang gawin. Then you have a public that's so distracted, and then you have a corrupt culture that's basically damaged us from the top to the bottom. So mahirap talaga. And I get that. But sabi mo, this is a job. We do what we need to do. I'd like to end the discussion there, Dwight and Leanne. And again, I'm so very thankful that you took the time to discuss what you've been doing, and I can only hope you the best, regardless of the negativity of Miss Leanne Buwan.
Wait lang. I wanna redeem myself. Teka, mabilis lang.
I was just kidding about the negativity.
Pero naniniwala din kasi ako na okay, our government will fail us. Siguro our judiciary will fail us. The legislature will fail us. Pero it's still better to know what's happening than to not, diba?
Yeah.
And para sa akin, I am talaga ako belligerent person talaga ako. And tinanong ko kanina ng friend ko, what makes you get up in the morning? Ako talaga parang, I really get up in the morning to raise some hell. Burn a part of this house down. And if other people can do that with me, or even kahit wala ng mga kahit yung mga netizen na nagre-Reddit, if people can give them hell, and many people will give them hell, okay na ako dun. I've done my job.
That's kind of the point, right? I'm reminded of what I think it was Gloria Steinem who said, "Everyday rebellions. We need to have that." Leanne, thank you so much. Dwight, thank you so much. And I can, again, wish you all the luck, and sana mas marami pang ma-expose na mga shenanigans sa gobyerno. And I hope the public, particularly the new generations now, all those who intend to take up media and journalism, take a lesson or two from these two guys who are doing a yeoman's job trying to do journalism. Thank you so much, the two of you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Please subscribe to Rappler Plus.
Subscribe to Rappler Plus and subscribe to Kaloy Conde. Subscribe to Rappler Plus. Yeah, sige. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.